This video is going to walk you through 3 great hot springs in southwest Colorado. Colorado is known for having a number of different hot springs throughout the whole state, but we think that these 3 are some of the best that we have here in the state and want to show you some video. We'll go through some pricing and a bunch of other details that you need to know. This is a map showing the thermal hot springs across the U.S., and you can see we have an abundance of them out west. I just kind of thought everyone grew up with hot springs, but didn't realize actually out east there's not that many. So if you're coming from the East Coast, this will be a good video to kind of show you what they look like and give you some expectation. And even if you're trying to check out Colorado, it'll help you pick which hot springs to go to. One general rule of thumb as you're coming out west is that if the town's name has springs in it, it's likely going to have a hot springs at the location. So if we're heading here to Colorado and we head up to northern Colorado, you can see Steamboat Springs. This is a great ski town. It's a fun hot springs, open year round. And so that's a popular one that people enjoy. If you're coming off of the I-70 corridor, you definitely want to stop in Glenwood Springs. There's a couple of different hot springs options there to check out. But what we are going to focus on in this video is the southwest portion of the state. Personally, this is my favorite area of the state. We have a town down here called Pagosa Springs, and Pagosa is actually the Ute word for healing waters. So that's how the town has gotten its name. And of course, they do have a hot springs here. They have a couple of different options. We're going to focus on the major, largest hot spring of 3 different towns down here in the San Juan mountain range. We'll talk about one in Pagosa. We will talk about one in Durango and then one in Ouray, because you're probably visiting all 3 of these areas during the same trip, likely. The first hot springs we're going to talk about is the Ouray Hot Springs, which obviously is located in Ouray, Colorado. Elevation here is almost 8,000 feet, so be sure you're drinking plenty of water when you come here. This is the only one of the 3 that I'm going to discuss that is a city-owned and operated hot springs, and that brings a couple of benefits. One, the pricing is really the best that you can find. So for an adult, it's $21 to come here for the day. For kids, it's $14, and I think your really little kids, your toddlers, are free. It's not open every day of the week. I think it's usually closed Mondays and Tuesdays, so just be sure you check the schedule ahead of time. They are open from 12 to 9 on the days that they are open, and they have 5 larger pools. So this is the kind of place where you can have a big pool that's like a lap pool, and you can do laps and big swimming, and we were doing water volleyball and all sorts of fun stuff. But they don't have those smaller enclosed pools, so it's just pretty much a big pool. And there's a koi pond that's nearby that you can check out, and there's turtles here. There's a playground that's outside of the hot springs and kind of a park area. There wasn't really anything for food. They had a little bit of snack food, so my kids were able to pick up some chips. But if I remember correctly, we brought in our beach bag and we had our towels with us. I don't think they do towel rentals here. And we also brought in some food and drink. You always want to make sure you have a water bottle with you, but most of the hot springs locations are not going to allow you to bring in food and drink, but this one did allow us to bring in stuff. They also have lockers and a shower area, but we just kept our bag with us. Now we're going to head south off Highway 550 and head to the Durango Hot Springs. So the Durango Hot Springs is privately run. They do not have any towel rentals. You can purchase them, but you can just bring your own, which is what we did. They actually have 26 mineral hot springs pools. So they're smaller pools. Some are only as small as like a 1-person pool. Others are a little bit larger. They have one that kind of feels more like a general swimming pool. You wouldn't really do laps in it, but it's good for the kids. They do have kind of a lower area where that pool is located, and then a couple other hot springs pools are at, and the kids can hang out in that area. And then they have more upper gardens and terrace areas, and those are hot springs that are only for adults. So it is family friendly. It is all ages, but the kids are going to have to stay in a certain area. They did have like a little cafe cart where you could get a beverage or some snacks, and then they had a food truck, and the food truck was delicious, so we were so glad they had the food truck. I guess they don't have that every day of the week though, so it's good to know. They are open daily from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., and they do require reservations because it is smaller. I don't know if that's a COVID thing or that's just in general their practice, but you do have to book a reservation. We were able to walk in and then make a reservation when we showed up because it was starting to rain and we weren't sure we wanted to hang out there. So if you didn't make it ahead of time, you might still be able to do it when you show up. The price for adults is $39 and the price for a child is $15. And on Thursdays, they have live music, and we just happened to be there on a day when they had some live music. This was definitely our favorite hot springs of the 3 that I'm going to show you in the list, just because it was quaint, it was a little bit more chill, it was calm. It didn't hurt that we had the live music there, but it was really a nice time. We loved the food and the atmosphere, and I think that you'd really enjoy this one. Like the other hot springs locations, this has a shower and locker room area. There weren't a lot of people here, so we just brought our bag with us and just kept our stuff kind of close by. And then the showers are really nice though, because they have a lot of really nice shampoos and conditioners and kind of luxury stuff. So it was our favorite of the shower amenities as well. Check out the temp on that pool. We were not able to sit in 113 degrees. The pools all kind of have some different temps and it'll fluctuate throughout the day, so they'll come by and update it every hour. And the last hot springs that we're going to talk about is the Pagosa Hot Springs, which is probably the most visited and most famous of the 3 that I'm mentioning today. It's also the most expensive, coming in at an adult ticket price of $59 and child of $30. Now there's some discounts for locals to any of these hot springs, but of course if you're local, you're probably not watching this video. You're like most of us coming in from out of town, but this is really a beautiful hot springs. It's right along the river, which gives it this great ambiance. It's near the downtown of Pagosa, so it just really has a beautiful look to it. There's 25 individual hot springs pools, and some of those pools are smaller, like a 6-8 person, and then some of them could easily hold like 15 or so. So there's not one giant pool like a swimming pool. They're all just individual pools, but they can fit quite a few people. And then if you're brave enough, you can go do the river plunge, which is what Jeremy and the girls are doing here. During the spring runoff, when we were here in May, you could not go into the river because the water level was too high and it was going too quickly. But we are back here, and this video is from October, and you're able to go in and do a river plunge. The water in the river was about 55 degrees, so plenty chilly to do that, but you can just hop right then back into one of the hot springs. And right nearby, I think, was like the lobster pot, or one of the really hot ones at 110 degrees, so kind of a shock to your body to go from one extreme to the other, but a fun experience nonetheless. There's multiple food and drink options. So there's just a little drink cart where you can get beverages, both alcoholic or non-alcoholic. And then they have more of like a sit-down bar area with countertop space, so somebody could go relax there too if they weren't in the pool. For the hotel guests and stuff, they do have a full resort that is here, so you're going to have a lot of hotel guests. And in fact, if you stay here as a resort guest, you have 24-hour access to the hot springs, and you get to go to the hot springs for free. Well, it's kind of included in your pricing to stay here. We did stay here in May, and we stayed in one of the suites. It was $600 for the night. But if you just count a daily rate of our family of 4 going to the hot springs, that's like $170. So, that's part of the fee built in there. The Pagosa Hot Springs is open every day of the week from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. And when you're buying a day pass, you have access that whole day. Versus like Durango had a reservation system, and it's only supposed to be for 2 hours, although we were able to hang out a little bit longer than that. The other thing I liked about Pagosa Hot Springs is that you're not too far from a park area where you can actually park your RV. We've driven through here and we've parked the RV, and then we've come in and done the hot springs for a couple hours and then continued on our way. But Durango Hot Springs does not have a place to park your RV, and Ouray, you could probably find somewhere in town to park it and then walk over to the hot springs, but their parking lot isn't really RV friendly. So I would say the Pagosa Hot Springs is the easiest to access if you're just doing a drive-by. So I hope this video was useful for you in finding a luxury hot springs that you could visit while you're in southwestern Colorado. Just so you know, there's some other hot springs in each of these locations that are going to be a little bit more affordable. It may just be kind of like a pool that happens to be warmer water because it's hot. What I decided to focus on this video were the luxury hot springs. So there's definitely some more affordable options, like if you have a large family and you just want to visit a hot springs and you don't necessarily want to shell out, $300, there's other options for you too. So thank you so much for watching. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at RV Homeschool.